Hi, it's Alex from Highlander Games on the Games crew. Myself, Joe, and Marcus here are going to talk about our top 5 most powerful cards from set 1 of My Hero collectible card game. No DLC, no promos, just the 140 card base set. We'll go over our top 5, and then we'll kind of talk about why we think those are our most powerful cards in the set. We'll kind of talk about our play style and what we value in our decks and how we like to play the game. We'll start with the Omaha Provisional winner, Marcus Johansson.
Hi there, Marcus. Were you starting with my cards right off the bat?
Yeah, we'll start with Marcus.
Okay, we're just jumping right into it.
Describe your play style.
Right.
What you
my play style is very much I like to do what I did at Omaha, play the taco truck deck. Very, win fast, get enough time so you can just relax between rounds. That's typically my play style. But I also like, I'll say combos are more janky. I also do enjoy those, like Take Mina, like the randomness, like the risk, high
variance, high risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I know we've talked a lot during our local tournaments that you and I are very much just like fly by the seat of our pants, just like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
But Joe here is just like very calculated, like, I have this, I got all this all set.
If I check a 5, I'm going to be great. If I check a 3, I got to go for it.
Yeah, I got to
Just got to go for it.
Oh, if I check a 3, then I'm going to lose. I'm not going to go for that.
Yep. Let's go. But yeah.
So let's start at the top of your list and then we'll work our way down.
I'll talk about 1.3 million volts. It's a big damage card. This was a weird card to throw into the list because out of all the decks I play, I think I played this card the least. But I just really enjoy it because it feels like a card that just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like when you play this card, it's usually game.
Sure.
Because you get basically stun 2, because you have stun 1, and then you get the commit 1, commit arrivals.
Yep.
So it's stun 2. So when you have this card, you hold on to it till your opponent blows your foundations, and you're able to commit them out fully. Because that gets, +1 damage for each one of your opponents committed. If it's mid-game, they got 8 foundations, that's +8 damage.
Yep.
Most likely you've already dealt damage by this point, so they're probably within 14 life.
Yeah,
That's enough to finish it.
Yeah, not to mention, the more committed out, the more damage it gets, and like the harder it is to block all that damage and stuff like that. So,
if you play that on your third attack on your string, it's most likely going through.
And low attacks, I think, are just deceptively fast, even if they don't have a fast speed, because they have the worst block mods. You see a lot of +2s, +3s.
Set 1 didn't have a lot of good low. You had
probably just the Midoriya card, self-sacrifice.
Yep, that was a +1,
and then concentrate after it got printed. Those are the only ones.
Yeah, everything else was +2 or +3. Most of them were +3.
There might have been an attack, but not for the life of me, I can't remember.
Yeah, probably, but not a lot of people play that one. From my memory from set 1.
Well, yeah, and then you don't really keep a lot of low blocks in your hand because you're, when you think about like the top tier, you got your Tokiyamis, which you're playing a lot of, like Crow and Frog, that's a high. You're keeping a lot of high end mid blocks, not very many lows, and the lows are just really bad blocks to begin with. So 1.3 just at the end of attack string with like 12, 13 damage coming at you is like a lot. It's a lot to deal with, especially after you've blocked twice and had to commit out and everything. So,
yeah. That's why I threw that on there. I thought it's a really good card.
Sure.
It's kind of a sleeper.
Yep.
And in the right hands, it can be lethal. We'll move on to my second one, is Instant Explosive Release. I really enjoy this card because, like I said, I kind of like the janky, kind of like the explosive play style. And that's a card that just gets there. Being able to, as long as your first attack hits, you're able to instantly clear the card pool with it, and it becomes momentum. Sets you up for so many combos.
Yep.
This attack might be the most taco truck attack I've ever seen in any game.
Yeah, because it's you throw as your first attack, or anything that is high speed, low damage as your first is usually going through. Everybody goes, I'm going to take this one because, you know what, I'm going to block their lethal attack that's coming down the line. So usually they're like, I'll take the first hit. It's fine. I don't want to add a card to my card pool to block, to make it harder to block something else.
Sure.
And then you throw an instant explosive release right after, and then you follow that up with like a frigid or
That first attack you threw was like a signature right swing.
specialist of sound.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything that uses momentum right after, it just throws people for a loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we're only talking about set 1, but I did play a lot of Dobby in set 2, so with that, starting out with signature right swing or a long-lasting explosion, people are usually going to take that and then follow it up with an instant explosion release just to get, coming in with that plus damage, and then
It's a way to cheat out momentum without you needing the foundation.
exactly. So
And I've enjoyed that. Also, the combo with Nitro Ignition Explosion.
yep.
With
Yep.
that, you get 2 momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, you can now get rid of both instant explosive release and Nitro Ignition from your card pool, wiping out your entire card pool
Yeah.
to play the next card to give it powerful 2 with Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
And every card that already
and then
has
you already
powerful.
have 2 momentum because of that.
Yeah, and I think that's why what makes this card so powerful too is just the fact that it clears itself from the
Yes.
card pool.
It's very slept on.
Yeah,
Really.
very much. And that's it is risky, and that's why I said high versus high road, because you have to deal damage in that first one.
Sure.
The first attack has to hit. If not, it's kind of useless.
So let's move on to your third one, Specialist of Sound. What's why
Special
is that
sound.
your-
I like that because I was just thinking defense, foundations, and being able to respond to -3 speed is so powerful. And then the second ability, check it. You're able to look at the top or the next card.
Mhm.
It's very random, but it comes in handy quite a lot
Sure.
if you're able to actually get it off. Usually, majority of the time when I'm playing, I'm like, oh, that actually helped me choose up what to play for my next card.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially with your playstyle, they're like, well, I gotta check that, X, but now you know what you're gonna check, so now you can calculate a little bit further
Yeah.
down.
And then it's like, oh, I've attacked. All right, now I do need to I can't go for it.
Yeah.
No, it helps you. It helps a little bit. And that's pretty much the only reason why I put it in there. It's so universal of a card.
Oh yeah.
As long as you're running the symbols, you're usually running at least 2 of them,
Mm-hmm.
if not all 4.
Sure.
Yeah. Not only is this card a defensive tank, it also lets you see your next check for your next card.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing negative about this card.
The only negative is when you have it all 4 in your hand opening.
I guess it's a 3.
Hand.
It's a 3 low block. That could be a
Yeah.
negative, but
Yeah, that would be the only thing would be a low
yeah,
block.
that's it.
And then I have, for the next one, is calling for backup. And I mainly threw this in just because of when I was thinking about my Tokuyami deck, is that draw is so crucial.
Yep.
Being able to draw an extra card on your turn was usually what made me win the game.
Yep.
Because it got me that one attack I needed, or it pulled into that Summon Dark Shadow, or it gave me a foundation just for when I laid in skilled, so I could actually lay in skill because I would only have 1 foundation in hand.
Sure.
So now I can actually use it to maybe get something better.
Yeah.
Or, or even defensively, if I had to use a couple times for just the discard draw one to try and get the right block modifier.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of really fun play that you can have with calling for backup, like in
Dobby.
in Dobby,
Yeah.
being able to use your first enhance on Dobby and then go calling for backup and then just pitch something to get your once per game online.
Yeah.
Is just it's really fun to play around with, and a lot of people will think you're just kind of wasting that card just for whatever reason, but it's like, well, I'm doing it for a reason. Like I'm benefiting myself by being able to cycle through my deck to get that next attacker that I need, and then filling my discard with foundations, or like if I have a Sugar Rush power up in hand, to be able to dump cards for a Sugar Rush in my discard pile too. So
yeah, this card's gotten me out of a bind a million times playing Fire and Void. So it's
It's such a good. Well, draw is just essential for the game. If you don't have a lot of draw, you are usually going to be behind. Because then a lot of it's more up to chance.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, speaking of draw.
Yep, speaking of draw, for my last card was Frigid Heat Wave. You know, being a 5 high for 6.
5 high 4.
5 high 4. I'm 6 if you draw. If you
Yeah, 6 if you do it right. 6 is the average, sure.
The average. Because being able to mill 3, potentially any attacks you accidentally mill gets +2 damage, and being 5 high.
4 through 10.
5 high right there. Even if they have a +1, they're guaranteed to commit 1 foundation with the block.
Yeah.
So if they're fully committed, you're pretty much golden.
Yeah, you got to check a 6.
Yeah.
Minimum of 6.
Minimum of 6.
The only downside I would have to say is it kind of pigeonholes you into range attacks.
Yes.
But
The range attacks are still good.
it is what it is.
You got Frog Lashing. You got.
Yeah.
That's why there's keywords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's being able to, if you have 6 in the discard, being able to guarantee draw 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's super strong because whether or not you are looking to go offensive or defensive, it gives you 2 cards for either or.
For sure.
Well, yeah, that with with calling for backup too, just pitch a range, get that 6 in there.
Yep.
There's ways to get it in the discard. So
Yeah, easily. And that's would be my top 5.
yeah, great.
A lot of it is character specific,
Sure.
For sure.
but that's pretty much the game.
Right. You've got your characters you like to play, so you build around those.
Yep.
Yep. So we'll move on to Joe, his top 5. So kind of just talk about you like in a deck, what kind of avenue you take to deck building.
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing that I do for deck building, is I like to even out my block zones. And then a lot of the times I like to run speed control and then just draw.
Yeah.
That would be the biggest thing. So some sort of, tempo would be the best description for how I play.
Opposite of me.
Yeah, where a lot of the decks I play, I like to discard their cards, but just being able to get advantage. I like to generate advantage, I guess. With everything I do, I like to generate more advantage into getting me something more. That's why my first card here, Manly Passionate Guy, is a perfect example of this, where I can use it to block something when I use my speed control that I usually run in the decks. To then it makes up these foundations in my hand, and when I end my turn aren't dead cards anymore. And then it clears the block pool to make cards easier to block later, and then you can still commit Manly Passionate Guy later on in order to pay for something else.
Yep.
And use the card that you played to pay for something else or as a defensive option. So it's very good.
I do miss playing that card because
Yeah.
it's so much fun to keep it in hand and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna set myself up for my attack phase because I'm thinking always attack. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get 2. I have 2 in my hand. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna have 2 more foundations. Let's start my turn.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if I'm ever deck building in Earth or Void, I'm like, all right, well the first thing I'm gonna throw in there is Manly,
Right.
and then we'll build around that. It's just such a powerful card.
This and Coordinated Effort, when they came out, I just had 4 and 4 done.
That's all you did.
Just so good.
You've played every character with those symbols
Yeah,
and around that package.
Yeah, until Coordinated Effort was bad, I was like, well, back to the gotta learn new stuff.
Or Coordinated Effort.
But one that goes along with this, okay, the order there is Latent Skill. But yeah, Latent Skill is my second choice. I just think it's so powerful because, again, you never know what you're going to see. So a lot of the reasons why I like to even out my blocks is because I don't know if I'm going to run into a low deck, mid deck, high deck. So Latent Skill kind of shores up that problem, where if I kind of try to make it even, I should see theoretically all 3 zones. If I use Latent Skill and I have 2 cards in hand, or 3 cards in hand, I should see every zone represented hypothetically, or whichever zone I need in that case. So it also sets up plays for people like Dobby, for people just a lot of people like cards in the discard right now too. So it's kind of huge.
I mean, it brings Sugar Rush online easier.
Frigid Heat Wave.
Frigid.
Yep.
And then just being able to pick.
Yeah, Frigid.
Huge.
Being able to pick and choose what you discard to versus just like Frigid where you're milling. So
Biggest downside of this card though is it's easily canceled.
Yeah, it is.
Easily canceled, and it's the you have to discard 2, then draw 2.
Yep.
Where calling for backup is the draw, then discard.
Where, yes, you don't get to pick first.
Yeah.
And then if it is canceled, that discard 2 is detrimental to your game plan.
Yeah.
So you got to keep an eye out for that.
Racerhead.
Yeah, favorite character.
Don't play that card.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
My third one, I also, whenever I build a deck in these symbols, I just put 4 of with Heroic Lineage. It does something on your turn, does something on your opponent's turn, makes your stuff hit harder, helps their stuff get blocked. It's just an amazing card.
Yeah.
2 cost, which deservedly a 2 cost. I could see it as a 3 if it had a better block zone, but
Sure.
you know,
It is +3 low, right?
+3 low, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's only downside to it, but even then you need low blocks.
for sure.
So
For sure. Right, and if you run speed, then, +3 doesn't matter. If you've already got one out, then you're blocking with it. Another one, it doesn't matter. It negates itself.
it's a 1 load at that point.
It's always scary to
0 low.
Oh, 0, yeah.
Or minus
Well,
2. Yeah, minus 2 is 1. Yeah.
1.
Well,
minus 2.
and then if you're looking at just 2 heroic lineages on your opponent's side, it's like, there's a lot of speed hate that I got to get over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you really think about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. And,
Yep.
Just the threat of that out there is you have to just have so many more resources.
Spinner makes me really excited to play him in Void with this card because it gives the weapons +1/+1.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just always online. It's huge.
So let's go into your first attack that you really like.
First attack is just it's probably not the best, but it's my favorite attack in the set. It definitely Reciprocal Burst. It's got zone. It's got the low block attack or the low attack, and then it's got amazing speed and damage. It does it all. It's reliant on momentum, but you're playing a deck that uses this as your kill card. You're gonna build it around the momentum. So
I hated this card.
Oh yeah.
I died to this so many times.
Yep.
Because it just gets such high speed. Like if you're a player that uses speed and you buff that up, it's unblockable. You can't do anything to it.
Not to mention you're getting speed and damage.
And damage, yep.
Yeah, this in Eraserhead, this in Selkie, this in Ida, it's a game ender.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. Well, it does matter if you're Nomu, I guess. But anybody else but Nomu, it's just
Nomu
they're
does
done.
Nomu things.
Yeah.
I should have played Nomu
I guess
back then.
I guess Ectoplasm too. Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, ectoplasm.
Yeah, Ectoplasm's really good against this card.
Yep.
So. There are counters to it. Charged up. You've got new training partner, whichever one that one is. So there's definite counters to it, but it's very.
All you have to do is watch out for that.
Yeah.
The only time where it became an issue of where you don't know what your opponent has to counter it was when they released Plus Ultra.
Yeah, it's true.
Because that was the only thing that would surprise you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything else was pretty much on the field that you could see, be like, all right, have they already committed it? Or used it? All right, I'm free to do this now. There's
Even
nothing
then,
they can
a
do.
lot of the times it's not unheard of for this to get up to 20. Between like 15 and 20, I think is pretty good for this card, and then that's only a half block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then the only duplicate that we have on all of our lists, the Frigid.
And I think we've talked about this enough. It draws you cards. It's a great block. It's so fast. It's got a lot of damage built into it potentially. It's kind of got that.
You
fun,
know that 3, that's +6.
Kind of got that fun. Pull the slot, see what you get.
Yep.
Yep.
1, 2, no whammies.
No whammies.
Yeah.
No whammies. No whammies.
So yeah.
All right. I guess we'll just go to my top 5. So, very different from Joe and Marcus. I love control. I love making my opponent have to pick and choose what they want to do, overcommit resources for a fundamental, gameplay. So, a lot of the cards that I really like are very controlling. Not so much though. My first card though, Tape Swing.
Let's talk about control. They go right.
No,
Yeah, I know.
So control. Let's talk about Tape Swing.
Yeah, but the reason why I had to put Tape Swing on there is just because it is the only thing that can get over Omni blocks.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't block it with a mid, if you keep it as a mid, it's the only thing that's getting over Faith Shield.
Yep.
That's the only thing that's getting over any of your Omni blocks. Heroic the one cost from set 3. I can't. The name escapes me.
Yeah, the Heroes Clash.
Heroes
it was
Clash.
named after it.
Yeah. Heroes Clash. To take no damage. You can't block with that card. Just not being able to block with the zone that it's coming at
The
you.
only counter is
Wall-cling.
Wall-cling, right?
Wall-cling is the only
And
counter
I guess
to that.
technically Ectoplasm.
No, it cannot be completely blocked. This card is considered completely blocked.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yep. So it's
Yep.
only Wall-cling where just
It
if
just
it's
deals no
blocked,
damage.
Deals no damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so just it's really awkward to check the 2. I mean, we all know
It's the only 2 on here, and
yeah, it's really awkward when you check the 2. But it's you live by the 2, you die by the 2.
Yep.
It can, if you have the resources to change the zone up a bunch of times. Love this in Mount Lady to just throw a bunch of damage on it, change a couple zones, and then just throw more damage on it, and you're at best you're half blocking it because you can't full block it. So
Yep.
you're either eating it all or just half blocking it. And when it's the throws throw is why I really like this. But again, not control-y, but it's just to be able to beat Omni blocks and in that control area of Omni blocks, like being able to get over that is invaluable to me as a card.
You said you like control, but then you were kind of joking that this card isn't really control. But I see this as a perfect card for controls, like kill card, because you have that choice of like either half block or ideal damage. There is no in between with this card. Where throws, there's ways to get rid of throw. Where I guess this card.
I guess the only one they could work with would be Train with Gunhead would work against this, right?
No, it's not a throw. It's not considered a throw.
Yeah, it's like it's
No.
Yeah, so it is only one. Okay, I was like,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of like I'm feel like
A little
this
bit
is
of speed
something.
hate and then spooky would do it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, spooky.
Yeah, which will be on my set too.
Sneak peek.
So yeah, I guess going to the next card, the only card that really beats Tape Swing is Wall-cling. And in Wall-cling, it just shuts down combos. It shuts down enhanced steps. Just like first enhanced Wall-cling, knowing that they're just gonna whip a bunch of resources at you and just shut it down.
Yep.
It's like, sure, waste all your resources to buff the hell out of this, but I can just omni block it or whatever. Like, I'm just not taking any damage from this, so
Yep.
it really shuts down a lot of play. Awkward to check a 4. I mean, a lot of the cards that I have are very awkward checks, but the reason why they're up there is because they're so good for what they do. So,
Wall-cling's just such a. It definitely takes a certain skill because if you waste it, you're kind of out of luck. It's I've had many times where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna Wall-cling this, and then out of nowhere they let's just take reciprocal burst, and then they buff the speed up where you can't even block it, and you're like,
That is one shortcoming of this.
yeah.
I wasted that.
Another kind of shortcoming of this is the forecheck.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward.
It is awkward checking the 4, but if you can telegraph what your opponent's doing easily enough, or like if you know that they're in the middle of their combo, string another combo, to be able to break that, or just have the threat of that out there, just makes I
It is
look
a
at
lifesaver.
I look at control as making your opponent think twice about committing their resources to do what they want to do. And then just even the threat of that out there will make people overthink, misplay, and then give you an opportunity to hit them with a crackback.
Sure. Yep.
So, I guess going on my third one, shock absorption. So this is a really, really weird one. I think it's very kind of vanilla as a card, but the fact that it's playable while committed, and it's speed hate, is super, super good. I can commit it to pass a check for an attack on my turn, and then be able to speed hate on your turn with the same exact card. It's almost like I didn't even commit it.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining this card in Earth. Well, I've done this before, where you do a little bit of speed hate, you block with this, you build it with manly passionate, commit both of them on the next attack, and then speed hate on the next attack. It just it helps you 3 times in that situation. Other situation helps you twice, and it's being able to do something with a card twice is big.
Yeah, or just if I have to block a card or block an attack, commit shock absorption, next attack comes out, speed hate it, make it easier to block the next one.
Yep.
I'm essentially getting +3 to my check on one card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's just
No, go ahead.
yeah. No, I just to reiterate the same thing. It's like to be able to do 2 things with the one card is super good.
I do see that card being the card that is usually played wrong the most.
Yeah. I like using it on my turn to commit something. You commit it to pay for something, and then just on your turn, I can just blow it
Yep.
up.
But like I see that card being where they will blow it up and not commit it.
Yeah.
Like so many people mistakenly play that card.
Yeah.
Way too easily.
Yeah. I look at this as a way better version of what's the Eraserhead destroy -3 speed.
Oh, mediator.
Mediator.
Mediator,
It's
yeah.
just a way better mediator.
Because it's playable while committed.
because
Yeah.
it's playable while committed.
Sure.
Well, it's also good when your opponent forgets about it because it's committed. You usually aren't thinking about your opponent's committed cards.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
So it comes out of nowhere. You're just like, all right, I got enough. They can't even block this, and they're like, well, I'm gonna just blow that up -2 to speed, and like, now they can block this.
Yeah. Another great thing about this card is that it's generally going to be played in controller tempo. So
Yes.
if you're using it that way, it just furthers your game plan so much more because you're playing it in those like certain styles. Those go into deadlock a lot, where being able to destroy a foundation is invaluable if you're going into deadlock. If
Exactly.
you're hovering around that 11 to 10 range,
Ooh,
it's
yeah.
huge. Yeah.
That's big. Especially being able to do the whole go to 11 your turn,
Yeah.
then bring it back down to 10
Yep.
on their turn, so they don't get to use the deadlock right away or something like that.
Yep. They'll start tunneling on that deadlock when they see it, and then just being able to just
Get rid of it instantly.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing's a greater feeling than like seeing a deadlock ability out there that you know you're going to get hit with and just get right out of deadlock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being really squirrely, it's so much fun. So, going on my 4th one, fulfill my duty. Again, really awkward to check the 4.
Yeah.
But going back to like Joe's list, you know, being able to stop that reciprocal burst, being able to stop the frigid or that the 1.3, just saying, okay, let's just go to blocks. 1.3 is a super easy card to block. It's not very fast, but just being able to stop your combo, stop your, you know, maybe you'll stun one, but just being able to stop all that combo, and then just go to blocks and then move on. It stops your combo. It stops, you know, you committing all your resources to destroy me or whatever. Just being able to say no is really good. And then, you know, not everybody likes to play Ida, so it's like the perfect Ida card that's not Ida. So again, checking the 4 is really, really awkward, but having that ability to just say, nope, we're not doing your enhanced step, or move on to the next.
I think
attack.
that card was like my most. That and Reciprocal Burst were like my most annoyed cards. Because I did so much combo stuff with my deck building, and it's just like, okay, I guess we'll go to blocks. There goes the combo.
Yeah,
Especially when you're actually doing like combo enhances.
Yep.
That hurts.
That does hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, this card again. You use it in control. It destroys itself to get you out of deadlock. The 4's awkward, but whatever. This game doesn't have a lot of ways that just. And I think in set 1 you've got 3 of them. The next one also says it, but I think you just missed 1 out of your list. Would have been Nightwalker. Would have been, but you just didn't. You don't play that much anyway. But like just being able to say no in this game is huge. There's not a lot of characters, not a lot of cards that do that.
Yep.
So.
And then just moving on the last and final, irrefutable force of nature. Again, just being able to say no. Just saying, nope, you're not using that wall clang. Nope, you're not using insert X card here.
Heroic lineage.
You can't use the heroic lineage. And then the fact that it's sealed for the entire turn. I know there was a lot of cards in set 1 that says seal for this attack. This attack is sealed, but just sealing for the entire turn is really, really good. You know, sometimes you just sealing that one foundation lets you live to the next draw phase. So
True.
You have to target a little bit. You have to kind of pick and choose what you're targeting a little bit, which may not be ideal when you're kind of looking at a bunch of hate on the other side of the board there, but just being able to say no and making people play around the roadblocks that you put up is, they'll misplay or they'll overcommit for something and then leave you an opportunity to hit them with a crackback. So.
Yep.
And I totally all the cards you listed are cards I personally have a vendetta against.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, these cards are really good. Oh yeah, I didn't pick them because I hate them.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I found those cards really annoying.
Yeah, the Tokiyami player, just shutting all your stuff down.
Shutting me down constantly.
Again, like this card fits into your niche of being control, but it's like the quintessential control card, where it can shut this down, it can shut that down, it can get you out of deadlock again, and because this one destroys itself to seal anything, right? Yeah. This is one of my favorite sideboard cards too, because when I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it. But when I want to see it, it's so good. It's so powerful. When you need to see this card and then you do, it's a game changer.
Well, it's good on offense and defense.
It really is.
On their turn, being able to steal something of them that's dealing damage enough that could kill you to allow you to, like you said, go to the next turn, get your next draw.
Yep.
Or on your turn, being able to steal whatever defensive, like a release or something that's just constantly allowing them to just block everything.
Yep.
You're just like, that can make you win the game.
I hate this card because it hits every single foundation I put.
That's true. I did a lot of fire in set one.
Yep.
And that was always just like, oh, how do I get rid of this card?
So any final thoughts? What are we? Are there some cards that you think that you might have that you kind of wish you put on there, or like something like a honorable mention kind of card that you were thinking of?
Calling for backup, but he put it, so I was fine with that.
Mine would be actually Nitro.
Nitro's big.
Because that was one of my packages with the Frigid that was always in it. I thought about adding it, but I just thought it was between that and Instant Explosive Release.
Yep.
But I just thought Instant Release was more of a sleeper card.
Sure.
Like, people don't really think about it. They don't really give it. When you see that card played, you're like, whatever, take 3 damage. But that consequence of getting hit could end the game because of that +2.
No, when I see that card, I go...
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's more coming. Oh,
yeah.
Which one do I block? Not the first one, probably the second one, maybe the third one.
Yeah. So that's where it was. Nitro would have been my backup pick for sure.
Yeah, sure. Being able to clear the card pool, that's huge.
Yeah. It clears itself. It's good speed, decent damage. And
also, no ban cards, or else we all would have put the same 5.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep.
All right.
Honorable mention to coordinate number.
No, that's promos.
Frog lashing? No.
Frog lashing.
Frog lashing.
Yep.
Amphibious.
And I'm missing one. It's the Giro.
Unwavering Slash.
There we go.
Unwavering
Unwavering Slash.
Oh, God, that card's so good. That card does a lot.
Does a lot.
Yeah, did a lot. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
All right.
Well, thanks for Joe and Marcus to take time out of the day and come and talk about some My Hero with us. So thanks for watching.
Next set, Crimson Rampage.
Yeah, next set 2.
So 2.